Hello, I'm Will. I'm here with Mike. We're the Tabletop Donkeys.
Hello.
And we're bringing you issue 33 of Warhammer Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms magazine today. With this issue, we got a pot of Stirland Mud texture paint and a Citadel texture tool. And as always, if you want to skip straight ahead to the battle report, you can use the chapters in the progress bar or the timecode in the description. Having a look inside this week's issue, we start off looking at the Forces of Order, Part 2. So we've got the Stormcast Eternals, that we know plenty about. The Seraphon, they're a race of magical lizards, led by the Slann, who are extremely powerful wizards. The Sylvaneth we've seen before, these are the tree people. And the Daughters of Cain, I don't think we've seen them before. A fanatical religious order of elves led by Marathi, the self-proclaimed Oracle of Cain. They're all basically vicious killers.
Forces of Order doesn't necessarily mean forces of good.
No, indeed. Then we look at Manfred von Karstein, the Mortarch of Night, one of Nagash's chief lieutenants, a vampire lord who actually came from the old Warhammer Fantasy universe. And he rides his dread abyssal mount, as you can see on his miniature there, and rules over the realm of Karstinia in Shaish. Continuing our look at the mortal realms, we have some more of the realms here. We've got Akshi, the realm of fire, Shaman, the realm of metal, and Ulgu, the realm of shadow. Over the page, Hish, the realm of light, Gur, the realm of beasts, and then also a little bit about the realm of chaos, which is not a mortal realm technically, but more of a sort of hell dimension that is connected to the mortal realms, and where all the forces of chaos come from, the demons and so forth. Then we have some fiction about a fight between the Daughters of Cain that we mentioned before, and some demons of Slanesh, who are hated foes. Then we get on to our modelling and painting guide, how to texture bases. So this is using the texture paint we got this issue and also the Citadel skulls from the previous issue, using the skulls and some advice about gluing them onto bases. Then painting all the bases that we didn't paint in the last issue, so these are all the ones that are not pre-sculpted bases. All the various bits on bases like tombstones, rocks, bits of masonry and railings and so forth that are on all the various models. And likewise the skulls that you might have added yourself, flowers and other things, and then showing how to use the Stirland Mud texture paint. So this is applied all over the base using the texture tool, or you can use a brush if you prefer, but suggest using an old brush because it can clog the bristles up with the grit that's in the paint. And then finally dry brushing it with Rakarth Flesh and painting the base rims makes the bases look complete. And you can see a couple of finished models there, and it really brings them to life in a way that they didn't look before up to this point. And also coming with this issue, we have another of these fold-out inserts. This one's about Nagash's attempts to reconquer the underworld of Shaish from various invading forces. And we've got two protagonists here, Catagros, one of Nagash's Mortarchs, the leader of the Ossiarch Bone Reapers, and Archaon, the Ever-Chosen of Chaos, leading his Chaos Legions. And on the other side of this is a map of the Ossiarch Empire, part of Shaish, ruled by the Ossiarch Bone Reapers, and there are some places of interest mentioned, and a few conflicts that are ongoing. Well, that's it for our issue contents. We'll have a look at our rules and get on to our game.
So before we can go into our game for this issue, we have some new rules to learn. First up, we have how to choose your general. One model in your army must be a general in every game of Age of Sigmar. It does say any model, but it also suggests you should pick a hero because the general has the same command abilities that heroes have, but they have improved versions. If you don't have any heroes, you can always choose a random model. It also mentions triumphs here. Some battle plans will include conditions for a major or a minor victory, and if you win a major victory, you get some kind of bonus. So when you pick your general, you roll on this table to get your bonus. So these are all once per battle, and you can choose a unit once per battle. When it's selected to shoot or fight, it can reroll hits. The same when it's selected to shoot or fight, it can reroll wounds. The other one is when it has to make a save roll, you can reroll saves. And these all last just for the whatever phase you use them in and they're once per battle. So it's a little boost you get. Some of the upcoming games, I don't think they actually include categories for major or minor victory, so we're not sure whether we use these, but maybe we will to make it more interesting. And over the next 2 pages, it goes over the rules for battle rounds, but this sort of consolidates all the rules for all the other phases we've seen so far. A little bit here about command abilities, where it shows how your general has a 12-inch range for them instead of 6 inches like regular heroes. It goes over things like how to move over terrain, keeping a 3-inch distance, how fly works. Possibly one new thing to note here is it talks about splitting units, so if a model is in coherency with any other members of the unit, you need to remove models until all the remaining models are in coherency with each other, if they be within an inch of each other. So now we can get on to our battle plan for this issue. We've got a bit of fiction here about some Vanguard Hunter scouts finding the ruins of Summersong, and Lord Exorcist Davian Spiritshield is taking it upon himself to forge a path to this stronghold of the dead. As we will do so in our battle plan, Forging a Path. The Nighthaunt have 2 Dreadblade Arrows, 15 Chainmasts and 3 Spirit Hosts, while the Stormcast of the Lord Exorcist, a Prosecutor, 4 Liberators and 3 Castigators. battle mat here, set out in the usual way. We have 3 objectives across the opposite diagonal to what it was in the last game. The Nighthaunt player sets up a unit first and we alternate, and the Nighthaunt player gets to go first. And the game lasts for 4 battle rounds. At the end of the 4th battle round, the player who controls the most objectives is victorious, and whoever has the most models within 3 inches of the centre of an objective controls it. So basically the same as the last game. So we'll come back after we set up our armies and get into the game. So we have the board set up. We have our 3 objectives, so 1 in the centre, 1 10 inches away towards the top left, and 1 10 inches away towards the bottom right. We put it on top of the building just for a bit of visual interest. If it was inside the building, it'd be hard to see on the camera, and it wouldn't be exactly 10 inches away. And I deployed first, so I deployed a Dreadblade Harrow down at the bottom, the unit of 15 Chain Rasps, the Spirit Hosts, and the final Dreadblade, who's going to be my general. And over here on the left, we have the Stormcast, 4 Liberators, the Prosecutor, the Lord Exorcist, and the 3 Castigators. I assume the Lord Exorcist is going to be your general.
Indeed.
The Nighthaunt get to go first as we begin the first battle round. So in my hero phase, I'll gain a command point. And in my movement phase, the Dreadblade Harrow is just going to move up down the edge of the board. The Chain Rasps and the Spirit Host both ran. The Chain Rasps rolled a 5 and the Spirit Host rolled a 3. So I just moved both units up 8 inches to be in line with each other, and so that it's not too easy for the Stormcast to charge us if they get 2 turns in a row. And my General Dreadblade is going to move up behind the rest of my army. And with that, over it be on to the Stormcast, turn 1.
In my hero phase, I'll gain a command point, and then we're going to try and cast Arcane Bolt with the Lord Exorcist. Needing 5, or getting an 11, so that's the big version. I'll take that. We do D3 mortal wounds. 3. It'll be on the Spirit Host. I should have said that before rolling, but I was going to get the Spirit Host anyway.
It's a dead Spirit Host. Off to a good start. We'll take away this one.
And then for movement, we're going to be fairly conservative. I'm not going to gamble on getting the double turn, because if I fail, I'll be quite exposed to coordinated charge. So the Liberators are going to form a kind of shield wall here, surrounding the Lord Exorcist, so he doesn't get Spirit Hosted. Prosecutor is there, and the Castigators have moved back slightly to get further away from the Spirit Host as well. And then we'll do some shooting. We'll do the Castigators first. They're going to shoot at the Spirit Hosts. As usual, we'll do power to accuracy by default, so they get to reroll 1s to hit. The prime hits on a 2 and the others on 3s. That's 3 hits. Wounding on 3s. Oh, just 1.
4+ save for the Spirit Hosts. They're fine.
Then the Prosecutor will chuck his hammers at them as well. 2 hammers hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. 2 hits, wounding on 4s. Nothing. There's nothing else to be done in my turn.
So we'll be on to battle round 2. And we'll roll off to see who gets to go first. I get a 2.
I get a 3. Yeah, I think I need to take the initiative in this game, so I'm going to go first.
Yeah, if I went first, I could probably pin the Stormcast in their corner for long enough to stop them holding objectives.
But first, we shall cast Arcane Bolt again. 5, getting a 6, that'll do. We'll put another mortal wound on the Spirit Host.
The wound on that one furthest from the camera.
So we're moving up. We've brought the Liberators and the Lord Exorcist up into the centre. Hopefully going to make a charge. Prosecutors come out the front to pretty much hold up the Spirit Hosts. And the Castigators have also moved up so they can take this objective and also try and keep up a little bit so they don't get picked off. And then we'll be doing some shooting. We'll put the Castigators into the Spirit Hosts again. 3s or a 2, re-rolling 1s. Re-roll 1. Into 5, so 2 hits in total. 3s to wound, 1.
4+ save. They're fine.
And then we'll throw hammers at them again. 2 on 4s, re-rolling 1s. Roll 1. Oh, got a hit. Wounds on 4. Oh, wound.
4+ save. We're fine.
On to the charge phase, and the Liberators will declare a charge on the... Well, they declare a charge. You're going to need, I think, a 7. Or an 11 will do. Charging in like this, getting within an inch. This guy's going to stay back slightly, so there's room for the Lord Exorcist. Hopefully be able to make a charge. He's probably going to need a higher number.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, okay, there's a 9.
There's obviously a 6.
He brings himself in like this, getting within half an inch of the Chain Rasps as well, and then the Prosecutor will charge into these Spirit Hosts, because I think the Lord Exorcist has brought them in, so I need to hold them up. So we just need a 3.
He rolls 3d6, but yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, there we go. 10. And he'll come in like this to engage both of them in base contact. I'm going to do the Liberators first, because I think they will suffer the most if the Nighthaunt gets to retaliate. They will just pile this guy in a little bit. He's within an inch, so they all get to make their attacks. So we've got 8 attacks hitting on 4s. Getting 5 hits. Wounding on 3s. 3 wounds.
5+ saves for Chain Rasps. Making 2. So I'll take away this check on the end. And then it's my pick, and I'll pick the Chain Rasps to go. So this chain rasp is going to pile in over the wall to get around the Lord Exorcist so that this chap here can get within an inch. He's in base contact with the Dread Warden, whose base is slightly smaller than an inch, so he's within an inch. So these two chain rasps in the end are going to attack the Lord Exorcist. Everyone else is going to attack the Liberators. So I'll do the attacks on Lord Exorcist first. We got 4 attacks hitting on 4s, getting 3. Wounding on 4s, rerolling 1s because there's more than 10 of us. 2 2s, 1 wound.
Then he has a 3+ armor, well, 3+ save. Oh, he failed, so he takes a wound down to 4.
Then we have 25 attacks on the Liberators, hitting on 4s, getting 12 hits, so just under average. And then wounding on 4s, rerolling 1s, and rerolling the 2 1s. Getting another 1, so that'll be 8 wounds.
8 4+ saves, rerolling 1s because we have shields. It's not bad, but when we roll the 1, it failed 2, so we're actually losing 1 Liberator.
I killed a model.
So this will kill the guy who is furthest from the objective. Yeah. We'll do the Prosecutor next because he's the only one in danger. He has 2 attacks which hit on 3s in melee, rerolling 1s. So 1 hit, and it wounds on 3 as well. No, it didn't.
So my next pick is going to be the Spirit Hosts. They're just going to pile in around the Prosecutor's base. 12 attacks, hitting on 5s. 6s cause mortal wounds. 3 6s in there. 4 6s, so he's dead twice over.
So that kills off the Prosecutor. And that leaves the Lord Exorcist, who is obviously going to attack the Chain Rasps. He has 4 attacks, because he's Lord, hitting on 3s. Missed once.
No.
He wounds on 3s. Failed one of those as well.
5+ saves. Made both! Yeah, but that will be the end of the turn. In the Battle Shock phase, only 1 Liberator died, so no need for a test there. And that'll be on to Nighthaunt turn 2. So movement phase, the Chain Rasps are going to stay engaged. The 2 Dreadblades are going to move up 12 inches towards the Castigators, and the Spirit Hosts are going to move into the middle so we can hopefully get charge on the Lord Exorcist. And I will start with the Spirit Hosts because they're probably the most important one. And I also gained a command point, if I forgot to mention that. Well, the Spirit Hosts are going to charge. They got a 6, that's definitely enough to get them in. I'm going to roll for the Dreadblades now. So the non-general Dreadblade's going to charge, getting a 10, and the general getting a 7. That's definitely enough to get them where I want them to go. So the Spirit Hosts are going to charge into the back of the Lord Exorcist. We moved the objective marker out of the way, but it's underneath that Spirit Host. And the 2 Dreadblades are going to charge the Castigators. And my general's going to be slightly fancy with his charge, so only 1 Castigator will be able to punch him. And then it'll be on to the fight phase. And I'm going to pick the Spirit Hosts first, because I might be able to kill the Lord Exorcist. So we're going to put all our attacks on the Lord Exorcist. We've got 12 attacks, hitting on 5s. 6s cause mortal wounds. Well, there's 2 6s, and only a single ordinary hit. It's not very good from them. So the regular hit wounds on a 4, which does not. So just 2 mortal wounds on the Lord Exorcist, bringing him down to 2.
So I'm going to pick the Lord Exorcist because I think he's probably got a better chance of knocking out some Chain Rasps than the Liberators do. He also could die if the other Chain Rasps roll well, so he's got 4 attacks on 3s. Oh, he's only hit twice though. And they wound on 3s. 1 wound.
5+ save for Chain Rasps. Oh, nearly made it.
D3 wounds from this hit, 2.
So I'm just going to take off this chap and this chap. And then I will pick the Chain Rasps to go. And we'll pile in. So we'll get 5 including the Dread Warden on the Lord Exorcist and 7 on the Liberators. 11 attacks on the Lord Exorcist, hitting on 4s. All my locks run out, only got 3 hits. And wounding on 4s, getting 2.
3+ save. Oh no, of course. So that is exactly how many wounds he has left, unfortunately.
Then we have 14 attacks on the Liberators, hitting on 4s. Getting 7, that's perfectly average. Wounding on 4s, rerolling 1s because there are more than 10 of us left. And then the 1s get rerolled into 2 more wounds, so that's 3 wounds.
4+ saves, rerolling 1s. No, I made all of them. I'll pick the Castigators because the Liberators are safe now. Due to the way I'd be able to pile in, I can only really get this guy fighting the General and these 2 fighting the other. So we've got 4 attacks on the non-General, hitting on 4s. Well, they all hit. Wounding on 4s, 2.
4+ saves for him, made both.
And 2 attacks on the General on 4s, 1 hit, and wounding on 4. Nope.
My pick next, I'm going to pick my General to go. He has 3 attacks, hitting on 3s. Wow, that's a good roll. 3 hits, wounding on 3s. Nothing at all. He's also got a horse. 2 attacks hitting on 5s. And he hits on 4s and wounds on 5s. Got the wrong way around. So it's 2 hits, wounding on 5s. 2 wounds! Go horse!
2 4+ saves. Oh no! I'll take out the one the General's fighting. And then we've got the Liberators to do. I'm going to put all my attacks on the Chain Rasps to try and reduce the number of bodies on the objective. 6 attacks now, hitting on 4s. 4. Wounding on 3s. 3 wounds.
5 plus saves. Oof. Failed 3. And we'll take away the back rank. And finally, the remaining non-general Dreadblade gets to go. 3 attacks with the sword, hitting on 3s. Getting 2. Wounding on 3s. Oh, he got a wound. Rend -1, I think.
5 plus save. Nope.
Then the horse hitting on 4s, getting a single hit. Wounds on a 5. Nope.
So we'll keep the prime.
I'm going to spend a command point, because the generals are within 12 of the general, so I'm going to spend a command point to make them auto pass their Battletop test. And the castigators took 2 casualties this turn, so they'll have to make 1.
So I don't want a 6. No, he's alright.
And that's the end of the battle round. We're on to battle round 3, and we're rolling off.
Oh, I've got a 6.
Well, that means you win.
Yeah, well, I'll go first then, so I don't get battered to death immediately. I'm not going to retreat with either of these units, so we'll just move straight to the shooting phase, where the Castigator Prime will shoot at the non-general. One shot hitting on a 2, rerolling 1s. He got a hit. Wounds on a 3. No. So straight to the fight phase, we'll do the Liberators first, and they're going to put all their attacks on the Chain Rasps again. 6 attacks on 4s. 4 hits again.
Yeah.
Wounding on 3s. 2 wounds.
5 plus saves. Made 1, failed 1. This Chain Rasp. I'll pick my general to go. So he's going to pile around. We move the objective marker out of the way again, so he's basically standing on top of it. He has 4 attacks now because he didn't charge, hitting on 3s, 4 hits, and wounding on 3s. There we go, he's figured out which end is the pointy end.
3 5 plus saves, Rend -1. Oh, made 1, but yes, enough to kill the Castigator Prime. That's enough to kill him.
Yep. So the Spirit Hosts will pile in so they can both attack the Liberators. 12 attacks, hitting on 5s, 6s cause more wounds. There's only 1 6 in there. So there's 3 regular hits that wound on 4s, getting, oh, they all wound.
4 plus saves, rerolling 1s. Made all of them, so just 1 wound goes through multiple.
So the guy on the end is just going to pile in, so he's definitely within range, and then there are 8 remaining Chain Rasps plus the Dread Warden. Sorry, that's 8 including the Dread Warden, so we've got 17 attacks hitting on 4s, getting only 6 hits, wounding on 4s, getting 3.
4 plus saves, rerolling 1s again. Reroll 1 was definitely a wound gone through. Well, 2 wounds. So it kills off the wounded one and put the wound on this guy here.
No Battleshock tests to make. On to Nighthaunt turn 3. I gain a command point in hero phase first, and then movement phase, my general's going to move down to here. In the charge phase, he will charge, needing a 3 to get in and get anywhere. Oh, an 11's easy enough. So he's going to get in like that. And in the fight phase, I'm actually going to pick the Spirit Host to go first, just in case I roll a bunch of 6s. 12 attacks hitting on 5, 6s cause mortal wounds. Well, 1 weapon out of the box. It's not a 6, so there's only 2 6s. And then only 1 normal hit. Normal hit wounds on a 4. It does.
4 plus save, rerolling 1s. He made it. He's there on 1 wound, so he gets to hit something. So there's 1 Sequitor left. Unfortunately, he can't reach out to attack the general, so he's just going to hit the Chain Rasp, I suppose. 2 attacks on 4s, 1 hit. Wounds on a 3. Oh, he did.
5 plus save. Failed. This guy on the end. I'll do my general, so he'll pile in. And he gets 3 attacks with his sword because he charged. Getting 2 hits. Wounding on 3s. 1 wound.
5 plus rerolling 1s. We rolled 1. Oh, he survived. Can the horse do it?
Horse hitting on 4s. Getting a single hit. Wounds on a 5. It does.
I've made that save as well. It was a 4.
Yeah. So we can get about 6 of them within range, including the Dread Warden. 13 attacks hitting on 4s. Getting 5 hits, wounding on 4s, getting 1.
4 plus save, made it.
The Lone Liberator is going to bravely hold on because he didn't lose enough of his friends to make a Battleshock test.
I could consider, I have lost at this point, but I kind of want to see if this guy can, the heroic last Liberator's last stand.
Yeah.
So we might as well go on to the next battle round and see what you can do.
So we're on to the 4th and final battle round, rolling off.
1. I think that means you go first if you want.
I rolled a 2, so I'm going to go first. We'll play this realistically. My general's just going to retreat so that he's on top of the building and holds that objective. And we'll go straight to the fight phase, where I'll pick the Spirit Host to go first. 12 attacks, hitting on 5, 6 cause mortal wounds. We got a 6, so he dies.
Oh.
So unfortunately the brave Liberator is killed. But that'll be quite a convincing Nighthaunt victory. So we'll recap that for you now. So that was the game for issue 33 of Age of Sigmar Mortal Realms magazine. How did you think that went?
Not as well as it could have done, probably. It started off well, 3 mortal wounds from an arcane bolt, and then it kind of went downhill. Yeah, I sort of went steaming into the Nighthaunt and sort of didn't do anything.
Yeah,
and then
usually when that happens, all of my models die, and that didn't happen this time. Yeah, the Lord Exorcist, I think, had a very poor game.
I don't think he made an armour save. Well, he failed 3 armour saves and took 2 more.
He didn't do very well in melee when he could have steamed right through them.
I think I could have done more damage on the charge, but I think my bigger mistake was thinking that Liberators would actually do anything. They're quite good as a holding unit, as we saw. To be fair, it helps if I roll amazingly well on my saves. They don't really dish out the damage in the way that Sequitors do.
Yeah, it was remarkable. You rolled off camera to see what would happen after the game. If you had 5 Sequitors charging and you got, 13 dead chain rasps or something?
It was much better than 1, which is what the Liberators manage.
Yeah, it's remarkable how their damage output differs.
Then with that, I mean, the Castigators, as usual, didn't really do anything, and the Prosecutor didn't really do anything either. So it was down to the Lord Exorcist to try and pull it round, and he didn't really get the chance.
And I think the Spirit Hosts are just being able to get the mortal wounds is pretty good against Stormcast.
And I mean, I've said all along that I'm quite scared of them, but they can be mitigated by doing a bit damage to them in advance.
Yeah, and I think I have quite a big wound advantage over you in this game, and you don't really have the damage output to deal with it.
I think that's it. Particularly in the game where we're actually trying to hold objectives, I needed to clear more Nighthaunt away before the end of the game. I mean, obviously, as it was, I got tabled, but yeah, assuming the game had gone slightly differently, I still don't think I could have actually killed off enough Nighthaunt quick enough to hold enough objectives. And the Lord Exorcist could have done that, because his spell obviously does D3 mortal wounds, but it's close range. Obviously, I tried to seize the initiative by charging across the board because I was worried you would just pin me around my home objectives, and then you could just essentially send your expendable Spirit Hosts and Chain Rasps in, and with the mobility you have with the 2 Dreadblades, you could easily just basically control the objectives, given that it was only a 4 battle round game. But the downside of charging in is that the Lord Exorcist wasn't in range to ever use his spell, and then he died before he got a chance.
Yeah, and I think Spirit Hosts and Chain Rasps, or something big unit of Chain Rasps, is probably like the best counter to the Lord Exorcist abilities, because he Spirit Hosts are 3 wounds each, so if you can kill one of them, and a few Chain Rasps aren't really that big of a deal.
Yeah, it hurts more if you have the more powerful 1 wound Nighthaunt models, certainly.
But I think now that we have objective-based games, the Nighthaunt's advantage and mobility, and usually numbers as well, is going to be a big advantage, because you can just swarm. You basically have to form a shield wall around the objective.
Well, actually, yes, if this had been a straight-up kill game, I would have just stayed together in a single blob, absorbed charges with the Liberators, and then the Lord Exorcist could go to work with his spell and his ghost trap stick, and the Prosecutor is just there as sort of a troubleshooter. He could run around and
hold things up.
Yeah. I considered using the Prosecutor to try and take your home objective, but I think you just would have sent the Dreadblades after him, and he can't really outfight them. His advantage really is just being able to make that 3d6-inch charge move, and I mean, it's almost like he's supposed to come in a unit of more than one.
Yeah, he's not really meant to be fielded on his own. I suppose, thinking of the rules, we have generals now. Eventually generals will get other abilities. They get sort of passive bonuses that apply to your forces, and eventually we get artifacts, special items you can give to heroes, but you might usually give one to your general.
And it's possible you might have a battle plan, I suppose, where the general becomes relevant, like the battle plan might involve actually killing the general, giving you victory points for killing the general or something like that. So,
and the extra range in his command abilities is pretty handy as well. You can be a bit more aggressive with him as well because of his increased range.
Exactly, as you did. You were able to charge him into the Castigators and still be in range to use his command ability on the Chain Rasps. Not that it was an important one in the scheme of things, but...
And we're not sure, the battle plan doesn't mention the triumphs, and I don't think we're intended to use them. Certainly the battle plan did mention a major victory.
No, the specific way it's wording is saying if you get a major victory, you can use them, but...
There's no difference between, there's just a victory. But so I don't think we will use them, but they are covered again in a later issue, so we'll probably bring them up, talk about them more then. And this issue we got the texture paint, so it's actually the texture paint you see on these bases as well. So the models you've texture painted are going to look pretty complete at this point, certainly a lot more than just bare bases. And putting the skulls on things just to add nice little details. You get quite a lot of large bases, especially with the Stormcast, so I like to use rocks and skulls and things just to make it look a bit more interesting. But the texture paints are really handy. And the texture tool as well, which I probably wouldn't have bought on my own. I think it's fine as a tool itself. I still generally stick to using a brush because you can generally get more of the texture paint on it. But it does save you from ruining a brush if you don't have one to ruin. It'd be good for if you're new and you don't want to ruin the brushes you've had so far with the magazine. Yeah. I mean, you could easily put glue and then put grit onto the base and then paint that brown, but this just saves you that step, basically. So I don't think there's too much more to say about this battle or this issue. So if you like this content, please leave a like and subscribe. And if you have any comments about the battle, how it went, if you played it yourself, let us know how you got on. We've been the Tabletop Donkeys, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye for now.